All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Lisa Clapper. I founded the Yay Collective, and I'm all about Yay and strategy, storytelling, and I'm a poet. And I'm here with Alix, and
Hello.
I'm gonna interview Alix so she can tell you a little bit about why she wrote her chapter and what she's all about. So welcome, Alix.
Thank you, Lisa. Go easy on me, a little nerve-wracking.
Don't you worry. I will.
So I'm Alix Biondo. I live in Houston, Texas, and I am a partner in a recruiting firm. Have been doing recruiting in some form or fashion pretty much all of my career, and lead a team here. I've got a husband of 23 years, and I've got 3 kids, and I'm turning 50 this year, the big 50, which I don't even know if I told Lisa that.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah. There you go. Yes.
Awesome. When I read Alix's chapter, so Alix and I are co-authors in this big adventure about leadership. And when I first read her chapter, I was struck by a lot of things. But there was this question that she asked us and herself in the beginning. And I want to read that question as a question for Alix right now. And it is this: what if leadership's purest form comes from allowing people to see you flail, fall flat on your face, and rise back up as a stronger version of yourself? I mean, what if that is leadership?
Sounds painful, right? It was. No, I mean, truly, I think sometimes we do have to hit rock bottom and kind of learn about ourselves and heal ourselves and come back stronger. And I do feel like I'm a wholly different person now. I can tell you that. I've had people tell me that who've worked with me. Several people I've worked with since 2006. And they will tell you I lead in a very different way. I no longer, I don't take on everything as my own, just all of the things that, we'll probably get into that, but all of the things that had me flail and fall flat on my face. I just have better coping mechanisms now that allowed me to start leading and allowing people to grow versus trying to shove, hustle, force, and I think as women, that's what we do. As working moms, that's what we do. It's just, I don't know, it's just something that I guess was ingrained with us from the generation who raised us. I know it was ingrained in me, hustle, do whatever you got to do, and obviously be kind. And I was always kind. It's not that. It's just, I'll say that I was kind to myself. I'm sorry. I was kind to others and not to myself. And that really is where the face plant happened. So very long answer to your question.
No, I love it. Yeah, I really got goosebumps when you talked about that at the end, because I feel like the culture tells women to power through and they can do it all. And there's all these messages, and they tell you to be kind to others, but not to take care of yourself. So I know you have a particular story of how you hit your own version of rock bottom. What happened, Alix? What did you do, and where did you go when that happened?
So I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version, but basically I had just started up the division of the firm I'm in. So constantly telling myself, I'm not good enough. Can I really do this? Who was I to think I could do this? And there were some naysayers saying, are you sure you can do this? Because I had 3 babies at home, under 4. So twin girls, and my son was 3 at the time, I guess. And we started plugging along, and things actually started to, I felt like, okay, this is gonna work. And then my mom got Alzheimer's. And so my world, it was like all the plates were spinning. And actually, I kept them in the air for a good 5 years. And that's what's funny. It was a time thing for me as I kept the grief of dealing with my mom on top of telling myself I'm not good enough for the business. And then I think one of the things I wrote in my chapter is I felt like I was half-assing everything. And you, as a person who wants to give 110% to everything, every area, every plate I saw looked like it was barely off the ground, And so then I was drinking wine and listening to sad music and doing nothing healthy to give myself back energy. And I went down. I woke up one day and I don't know what it was. I can't even tell you the particular day or how it happened. I just know I woke up one day and I knew I could not do the life I had been living, not for one more minute. I think that's what I wrote, not for one more minute.
Yeah.
And I had to change. And it was embarrassing because, again, I was beating myself up. I was mortified. I was embarrassed. I didn't tell anyone. My kids did not know. The only people who knew were, of course, my partners at work that I had to tell. And I know that was a part of my story you liked because I had a cardinal rule. There is no crying. There's no crying in baseball, and there's certainly no crying in the office. And I couldn't tell my two partners why or what was happening. And they kind of were dumbfounded because I didn't know what was happening. And I think they were scared too, that I was just going to up and leave, So I just took a sabbatical and worked through some things. And so that's part of my story, but yeah.
And for the audience, I think, since it's probably mostly people who identify as women, it might be interesting to note that your partners were male, right? So
yes, I was going to leave that out, but yes, they are male.
No, but I think it's interesting. And that may be part of why you felt like you couldn't cry and show yourself at the office.
No. I mean, I could with other women and I would with other women. Yeah. But with them, no, I had to be strong and I had to be, game face. And I call it my dukes up. I always was a bit defensive. I mean, credit to them. and honestly, they reacted better than I could have ever imagined or hoped for. They were so kind and just said, you go do what you need to do. And we'll take care of the team while you're out, your team. So that was a moment, and it changed our relationship. That and my healing truly changed our relationship after that.
People surprise us, right? I think one of the themes is this idea of we're afraid of showing ourselves, right? Unarmored. But then when we do, like, what does that open up?
So that's exactly what happened. So after, I took a sabbatical, and like you, I don't want to give away my whole chapter, but there's some things that I did that I think anyone can do. Most of them are free. It was just a lot of self work. But when I came back, because like I said, my partners and our relationship was different because I literally stopped being defensive about anything and everything they said. It was like that chip on my shoulder, it got knocked off. It was still on the ground back with me when I fell flat on my face. And then in return, they dropped theirs. So they no longer looked at me. And I will tell you, there are moments in time now where we're sitting in a meeting and you can tell we're kind of getting fired up again. And we may say something rude like we would have before. And we go, I'm sorry. Yep. Nope. I'll take that back. What I meant was, yeah. I mean, it was a game changer. Our whole company can see it. They call us the mom and two dads, you know, and the whole company can see that change, which is healthy for them too. So it's the ripple effect of you heal yourself. You don't even know how many people you're healing in doing that. Yeah.
I love that. I have a friend, in fact, the friend who got me to find out about this book, and he says, may we be of benefit to at least one person, right? And like that
Right.
idea, I added this idea of being exactly who we are. And it feels like you're really touching on that you're empowering not only yourself, but your colleagues, your family, people that you come encounter with, to just show up as who they are. Is that
Right.
fair to say? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want that. Now, there are some energy things to that. So that's part of what I had to learn. Number one, I was an empath, or I am an empath.
Okay. Yeah, you just weren't.
My name is Alix Biondo, and I'm an empath.
What does that mean for folks who might not be as familiar with an empath? What does that mean for you?
I had to figure it out too. So what it means is I did not realize that as I was going through my day, whether it be at work and my team members or my clients who, you know, when people call a recruiter, it's usually because they're stressed out and they need some help, you know, or they're looking for a job. So it's always some angst there or a problem to solve. And so by the end of the day, I mean, I would be absolutely exhausted. And then I've got kids to feed and, you know, whatever activity that we've got going on. And there's always an activity. And it was like there was never, I just depleted my energy completely because I took on every single problem as if it was my own. And I think that's the difference, because I've tried to explain it and other people will say, oh yeah, I don't do that. And so I didn't realize that everyone else didn't do that. I thought that's just the way it is.
Right.
So that was, man, when I figured that out, and I'd heard the word before, but you know, you hear buzzwords and I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
But when I really figured it out, I stopped, number one, reacting, because I realized, oh, yeah, they're just venting, or I gave people more grace because I was giving myself more grace too. But I no longer, I give this example. I have everyone has a coworker in their office that is going to start with that, you know, some complaint, or even if they're joking. And in our office, we joke a lot. I mean, we've got a lot of highs and lows. I mean, it's not the faint of heart that becomes a recruiter. So there are always highs and lows and on the daily. And so I have this one coworker that I tease with now, ever since I came back, that she'll start complaining and I'll go, hang on, let me zip up my energy. And it is funny, but it's also true, because I just don't take it on anymore. Not to the level that I did. Am I going to listen to her? Yes. But am I going to take it on as a problem and carry it with me for the rest of the day? Nope. I'm just not. And the cool thing is they know. And she rolls her eyes. Oh, here we go with your energy again. But I respect it too, you know?
That's funny. Yeah, but I mean, it's actually helping. Like, it creates this this sort of edge, right? This barrier, this boundary. And we talked a little bit about in our last conversation about boundaries. And it reminds me, my massage therapist, who she does this thing at the end where she just lays her hands like right here. And so, being me, I asked her, what are you doing? What's up with that? And she said, I actually have a mantra. And at the end, I say, what's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. And I was like,
so
what?
She doesn't take on your energy. Wow. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you consider a body worker and how like she's releasing things and there's a lot of stuff she's working out for you, it's a really important thing to sort of find your own energy and maintain the balance there, especially as an empath, right? And Yeah. You also talked a little about boundaries, but what else do you do now to help yourself with that, with your energy and your boundaries? Any tips for folks listening?
So I now can recognize when I'm having a reaction because of the work I've done, to where normally I would have just reacted, flown off the handle, or got upset. And
Mhm.
now I can take a moment. I can be sitting in a meeting and no one have a clue that I've just checked out and checked in with myself and gone, okay, what are you so upset about? And then I ask myself, what is true? Is that true? Is the way you're reacting to what this person's saying, is that true? And 9 times out of 10, we are making it up in our heads. I mean, completely. But it gives you the
Yeah.
opportunity to either ask it again, or ask for clarification, or they may mean it. They may mean it exactly how they said it. And guess what? That's theirs to keep, right?
Wow.
You don't have to take it on. That has just been that's been another game changer
So,
for me. Yeah.
I wanted like that. It's interesting because you said a few things in there, and some of them might be a little familiar, but the part at the end, which is that even if they said it and even if it's true, it's still not yours to take on. To me,
Yeah.
that feels like a revelation. Like that, right? That's not you. That's
I
so
think I
wild.
wrote the word miracle. At
Yeah.
times it feels like a miracle in how I react to things. I mean, and I can look back even to 2 years ago. I mean, because I think the cool thing I wanted to mention too about my story is all of this happened before COVID
Wow.
and both of my parents dying. So
Uh,
I was better equipped. I
yeah.
mean, it was still horribly hard, but I was so much better equipped to handle it because of the work I had already done, you know?
Yeah.
And that's another thing I hope I get across is the work is never ever done.
Oh, bummer, right?
I know.
Yeah.
We
But
just but you never go back. That is one thing. I've had people tell me, coaches that I have paid to work with told me, once you get to this level, it's more like a cylinder. If there's one thing you need to learn, one sticking point that you just kind of need to keep getting more closure on, which there are, at least I've experienced that. Kind of the same thing will keep coming back up until you really, really deal with it. And I don't know, but I do feel like you don't go completely back. I will never, ever, ever go completely back to where I was. I just
yeah.
won't. I'm a different person now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing to hear, right? We're all on our own journeys, to use that phrase that everybody likes to use, but to know that like we're never done, but we're also progressing at the same time. And that
Yeah.
that we don't go back. Sometimes it feels like we're making the same mistakes again, but they're really just like slightly different mistakes in a slightly different place as a slightly different person. Does that resonate at all with you? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Because, okay. I think I mentioned this in my chapter. I'm not sure, but that takes me to this. Before this happened to me, I was you know, I had an edge and I was afraid to lose that edge because if I lost that edge, I would fail. And so I kept this edge. And then obviously that failed after a while of living that way. Um, and so in doing some of my work, I learned how to do some inner child meditations. And let me tell you, I
Ooh.
used to make fun of that. Like, oh, inner child, that is so silly. Oh my gosh, how could that ever work? And by the second meditation, I was like, wow, that's one of the most powerful things I've ever done. And I did it on my own, just for free
Really?
off of YouTube. Yes. And so my joke is that when I started doing all this, because my husband is very logical engineer type, and he said, "Is your inner child named Chucky?" Which I still think is funny.
It's very funny.
Because I think it might have been.
It might have been.
Might have been. But my point is that your inner child is still there always. Like, what I learned for myself is that I never felt safe as a child. Oh, wow. Never anywhere did I feel safe. I was a child of divorce. So no matter where I was, I just never felt, I never had like I moved around a lot, just lots of things. So for me, when my now inner child raises her ugly head, and it's not ugly, it's really sweet and kind.
It's real. Sweet.
But it may present in a, hey, wake up, I'm mad, I'm getting mad. And so it's learning it's just a reaction. It's just a reaction. And once you know, okay, I'm just reacting to something that is a really old wound. And now I know that it's there, but it doesn't mean you don't still have that wound. I mean, some people can heal them. Yes, I've gotten close on some of them, but I feel like that's the journey. That do we ever fully get over those things? I don't know. And they've helped us in a lot of ways. Yeah. My edge and my mean girl got me to where I am today. So I'm grateful for that, but I don't want to live the next half of my life
right
with her. With her the way she was.
Well, I'm sure glad I'm meeting this Alix right now, because I don't do well with mean girls. They eat me up for lunch.
No, and she was only mean to me. She wasn't mean to other people.
So she was an inner child mean. You said that earlier, right? About the kindness was always there for other people, but you were hardest on yourself. Yeah.
My big thing, I became a recruiter because I love people. I love helping people. I love talking to people. I just fell into this. You don't wake up and say you want to be a recruiter, but that's what I've always loved. And so, that helped with the good parts of what I do, but even that, if you can help people all day long, but if you're not giving yourself back anything, you're still gonna face plant, as I call it.
That comes back to that depletion, right? And like, how do you tell your inner child, just curious, how she's safe now? What do you, if you want to share with anybody, like, are there any little things you say, like, to keep her okay?
No, it's different every time. Sometimes I'll just, I might even be driving in the car and I feel my old anxiety. I used to drive just like this to work, just every day for an hour, Houston traffic, just anxiety ridden. That's just the way I lived my life. And now if I feel that, I'll either put my hand on my heart and, and this is silly, but when I was a little girl, my grandmother called me Missy. So I've named her Missy instead of Chucky. She is Missy. And Missy was a kind, sweet little girl. And so I can picture that little girl who was scared and always fearful and never felt safe. And it's just that one little thing now, because I did the work. But I think for me, it's just recognizing that you're doing it, recognizing that you're starting to feel anxious. I will play music, or I will go for a walk with my dog, or I will do a 5-minute meditation. I sit in my car all the time outside of meetings and go, I hope no one's gonna, carjack me today, but I'm gonna sit here and do
you close your eyes and sit there.
I do. That's great. And it's almost, I don't have dogs in the car. There are things at home that will distract you too, so it's kind of a good place, but it's tiny little bitty things that over time make a huge impact. And I read lots of books and lots of podcasts. And so anyone who wants to ping me and, here's some of what I used or thought about just making a list, to put out as a resource of the things that were most helpful to me.
Yeah.
But
I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
this isn't happening live, but there'll be ways for people to reach out to you. We'll make sure your info is
yes,
in there. Yeah, I love that idea. I feel like I heard one of my favorite meditation teachers talk about how it's so brave to stop in the middle of your life and just sit there and
it's one of
be.
the hardest things I've ever had to learn to do.
Yeah,
But it's true. It's
yeah,
You have to slow down to truly, I don't know, for me, I had to slow down to rejuvenate myself,
hmm,
and now, I can't take a sabbatical every month. So now I have
right.
to learn how to do it in very small increments of time,
Hmm.
and really, if I do go on vacation, take a moment just to sit in a swing, sit on whatever balcony I'm
Yeah,
on, and just
yeah.
be, because that's what I realized I forgot how to do. I just forgot how
Mm.
to be. Yeah.
Forgetting how to be. Yeah, you told me you were just on a trip and it sounded like it was pretty active. Did you do any of these things like in the middle of the trip, or did you get to, not really?
You're gonna call me out. No.
No, it's okay
No,
if you
but
didn't. Yeah.
and I actually did. I will do like it wasn't much. It was like a 5-minute meditation, because we would, kind of do our training. I was at a conference, so we would do our
Yeah.
training and then we'd have like an hour break. And so I would go back and kind of recenter myself and then, go back out at it again. But I was also with people who really feed my soul, um,
That makes
from
a
all
huge
over the
difference.
country, that we look so forward to seeing each other. So it's almost like you don't want to waste a minute of it.
Yeah.
So there was that too. That is very
Oh,
important too.
that's
I
so
came I
true.
came back, even though, we stayed out late and we were in class at 8 o'clock in the morning, but I came back rejuvenated, because
Yeah.
that's the difference with energy. People think it's sleep and they think it's,
Hmm.
I don't know, vacations or whatever, but it's not. It's doing things that feed your soul and doing things. I mean, that's why I did this. That's why I
Yeah.
did this, because
Yeah.
if I can help one other person do what I did and get through it faster than I did, because everyone has to, what worked for me might not work for anybody else, but there might be some little nugget
Yeah.
that puts them on a path to read. Oh, I heard about this book. Maybe I'll go back and read it because I heard Alix and Lisa talking,
Yeah.
something that puts them on the path to their healing the way that they need it, because let me tell you, my friends looked at me like I was, you know, but because they love me, they
They
love me,
and they
and
gave you grace, right? Which is, you talked earlier
yes,
about
and
that.
they can
Yeah.
see
Mhm.
how different I am,
Yeah.
and so now they're like, now what book was that? And what podcast was that? So it's really just, it's almost showing by doing, right? Or, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I was thinking there was something about, I'm going to try, this is going to be a little bit of a clunky segue, but one of the things we talked about earlier, and people are going to be surprised, right? We're talking about energy, we're talking about these little things, and we're also talking about leadership. And one of the things you told me earlier was about, I think this revelation about the difference between managing, which you
Mhm.
realized you don't like slash aren't good at. I want you to talk more about that. And leadership. And what is that difference for you?
Right.
Yeah.
That one hurt. Not, that one hurt really bad, because
Yeah.
I've always thought of myself as a great manager, but I am not. I've never liked to be what they call micromanaged and
Mm.
metrics. And in our business, in the recruiting business, how many phone calls did you make? How many client visits do you have? That is not how we work. And with larger firms, you'll see the turnover just go like this. We've had people be here since day one, 15 years ago. I mean, my husband this week just said, when's the last time you lost someone that you didn't want to lose? I said, I mean, I couldn't even remember. It was someone who left because she loved horses too. So anyway, I digress. But
That's all right.
yes, I learned that. I actually had someone on my team say, you're not the greatest manager. And I went, oh, it's like, I know it, but to have someone say it to you. And she goes, but what you are is a great and inspiring leader. And I went, thank you for saving that one, because that really hurts. And so to me, it comes into this whole concept of, I learned how to surrender. And once I learned how to surrender, I do not control the universe.
What?
God and the
Really?
universe does. I do not. I know. Who would have thought? I don't control the
didn't
universe.
know. Yeah.
I can't make my children do what I want them to do all the time. So yeah, now and I do think I used to, whether it was with good intent or not, I think it was always with good intent, but hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. Did you do this? And that exhausted me too, because I hate it. I just hate it. I hate it. And so what I do now is, what are and I always was, what are your goals? But it was kind of like, do the activity to get there, and it's still important, but I'm not gonna hang over your head and watch you. Either you do it or you don't. And if leadership should be, I'm supporting you in, whatever stage of life you're in, because I have people in all stages of life on my team. And so whatever you're trying to get, learn how to ski, go on a vacation, whatever it is, to see people get that, that is what gives me my energy. To see someone on my team send me a picture of them on the ski slopes with his family, that lights me up, because I know that he did it because I helped him get there, and that's why he's sending me the picture. And so to me, that's the difference. It is allowing versus forcing. You can't force, and you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time and your energy, is all I can say.
I love that. And I feel like that's a great, kind of note to start to wrap up on, that idea of allowing. And I think coming back to, all the things we've been taught are that we are supposed to force, and we are supposed to manage, and we are supposed to control. And where does that get us, right? But if we allow and we give up some of that to the universe and to other humans with us, I think that the power of that is just, the positive power of that is so real. And you see it, right? Yeah.
One of the things I've learned, that if you give people the opportunity to rise to the challenge, they will. Right. Awesome. And if they don't, then maybe they're not in the right seat on the bus. Maybe we've had to do that. We've had to move people into different roles because we didn't want to lose them. But I mean, I feel like my entire life has been resist, force, and once I realized, that's one of my favorite things, is what you resist, persist. It is, I swear, I tell my kids, it's like the law of gravity. If you're pushing against something, look at why. Look at what's making you do that, and really just spend some time with it. Journal it out. Some people don't meditate, they journal. Some people just go on walks. Whatever it is, just get your brain quiet. Listen to music. A lot of people listen to, whatever kind of music that soothes their soul. But that was a huge one for me.
Oh, that's great.
And I still have to fight it every day.
I love that.
I still have to remember to surrender every day. And I
I love
know,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
These are like
yeah,
your little catch, remember to surrender, and the what you resist persists. These are great like little
just
catchphrases. And
little
if people,
things.
yeah. And if people, when people read your chapter, they'll get a whole like taste of some of Alix's tools and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think we probably need to wrap on time, but anything we didn't cover that you wanted to leave folks with, or you feel pretty good?
Just one more thing I think I wanted to say is that if I had to sum up everything with like me before and me now, I no longer live, manage, lead, not manage. I don't do that anymore. Lead from fear.
Mm.
I just don't. I can be scared. I was scared to death to do this conversation today. So thank you for making it easy.
Oh.
Um, but I can look at it and go, okay, what's having me be scared? Again, is that true? Is that, we can make up 1,000
Yeah.
things in our head, and it's a
Yeah.
matter of what's behind being scared. And then if it's a good thing, because when we're scared, we're growing usually, unless someone's
Yeah.
chasing us,
It's
it's
a whole other kind
usually
of thing.
it's
Yeah.
usually just an uncomfortable fear.
Yeah.
But I don't let fear hold me back anymore. And that is why I am so grateful to have met you and all the other
Oh,
authors and
me too.
just the whole network of women out there across the
Yeah.
country that are such an inspiration. And you feel like you're not alone, because when you're going through what I went through, you feel like you're completely alone, even when you have people who love you. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all I got.
That's it. That's just such all these. I think every part of your message is so just so important and heartfelt. And I'm
And I can't wait
so
to read
glad.
your poetry.
Oh,
I'm
thank
excited
you.
about that.
And I'll see you soon. And everyone tune in for who's next. And thanks for checking out, what are we called again? The Great Leadership Awakening. This is Lisa Clapper, and
I'm Alix Biondo. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Thank you.
thank you.